Gavel away, so lost my gavel privileges, but like to first start this meeting by recognizing the homeland of the 30 First Nation communities of the area we call the Fraser Valley Regional District. Important decisions that we make at the local government level can affect First Nation communities and Indigenous peoples and organizations in great many different ways, both today and in the future. So as part of our collective responsibility, I commit we continually examine the work we do to ensure that our projects, plans, initiatives, and discussions are grounded in the principles of inclusion, collaboration, and reconciliation. So with that in mind, I'd like to call to order the FERD Board of Directors regular meeting. Ms. Kinnaman, first item.
Looking for approval of the agenda, and late items.
Thank you. It's moved by Director McHorn, seconded by Director Popov. All in favor, opposed if any, the item carries. This item.
Item 4.1 is the draft Fraser Valley Regional District Board meeting minutes of December 14th, 2023.
Thank you. It's moved by Director Gibson, seconded by Director Shahal. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, opposed if any, item carries. Next item.
Items 5.1 through 5.4 are committee minutes for information and matters arising. Happy to separate any of those items.
Thank you. Questions on the information items? Don't see any. Next item.
6.1 is a 2024 grant and aid request for the Deroche and District Community Association in electoral areas C and G.
So moved. Thank you. That's moved by Director Castle, seconded by Director Dixon. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor. Opposed if any, the item carries. Next item.
7.1 is Fraser Valley Regional District North Cultus Lake Sewer System Service Area Amendment Bylaw number 1719.
Thank you. Motion number 1 is moved by Director Dixon, seconded by Director Clute. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor. Opposed if any, item carries. Motion number 2 is moved by Director Dixon, seconded by Director Johnson. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor. Opposed if any, item carries. Next item.
7.2, Fraser Valley Regional District General Fees Establishment Bylaw number 1705.
Thank you. Motion number 1 is moved by Director Lowen, seconded by Director Dreesen. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor. Opposed if any, item carries. Motion number 2 is moved by Director Popov, seconded by Director Sidhu. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor. Opposed if any, item carries. And motion number 3, moved by Director Johnson, seconded by Director Gill. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor. Opposed if any, item carries. Next item.
7.3, Fraser Valley Regional District Zoning Amendment Bylaw number 1640 to facilitate a 2-lot subdivision at 10228 Stave Lake Road in electoral area F.
Thank you. This is for EAs.
Move Davidson.
Moved by Director Davidson, seconded by Director Dickey. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor. Opposed if any, the item carries. Next item.
7.4 is the Fraser Valley Regional District Regional Growth Strategy Bylaw number 1706.
Thank you. Motion number 1, moved by Director Pranger, seconded by Director Reed. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor. Opposed if any, item carries. Motion number 2 is moved by Director McIlhonic, seconded by Director Clute. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor. Opposed if any, item carries. And a new second reading is moved by Director McIlhonic, seconded by Director Medlock. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor. Opposed if any, the item carries. Next item.
8.1 is the FVRD quarterly update.
Okay, questions on the information item? Don't see any. Next item.
8.2 is the 2024 holiday closure of the FVRD corporate offices.
Thank you. Moved by Director Barkman, seconded by Director Adamo. Discussion.
Yes, it's 11 months until Christmas.
Thank you, Director Pranger. And any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor. Opposed if any, the item carries. Next item.
8.3 is building bylaw contraventions at 47850 Ash Road in electoral area A.
Thank you. That is moved by Director Johnson, seconded by Director Dixon. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor. Opposed, if any. The item carries. Next item.
8.4 is complete communities 2023-2024 grant application for electoral areas A and B.
Thank you. That's moved by Director Adamo, seconded by Director Johnson. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor. Opposed, if any. The item carries. Next item.
8.5 is the chair and mayor's committee terms of reference.
Thank you. That is moved by Director Horn, seconded by Director Popo. Discussion. Director Horn.
Thank you. I think the important parts here to think about are the ability of mayors and the chair and reps from electoral areas to get together on an ad hoc basis. I know that Director Pranger raised this when we were at the RACS committee as well. I'll also point out, I think it's really important for us moving forward to acknowledge the importance of trust in all of our advocacy circles. And I'll say this, my door is open if folks are wondering what is being discussed mayor to mayor or between any directors around this table. I think we quite simply accomplish more when we work together. This particular vehicle wasn't agile enough, but I do think we should continue to look for ways to work collaboratively, particularly on shared municipal issues.
Thank you, Director Horn. I don't see any other comments. I'll call the question. All in favor. Opposed, if any. The item carries. Next item.
Item 9 is motions brought forward from the January 25th, 2024 Committee of the Whole open meeting, and we've just brought them up on screen for the board's review.
Thank you. Need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Director Horn, seconded by Director Clute. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor. Opposed, if any. The item carries. Next item.
10.1 is motions brought forward from the January 24th, 2024 Electoral Area Advocacy Committee open meeting. There is a motion for your consideration.
Thank you. Let's get a mover and a seconder. It's moved by Director McElhonick, seconded by Director Pranger. Discussion, Director Davidson, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, staff, and the Chair and other directors for a short and productive and focused meeting. I think our inaugural meeting went off quite well. One comment on bullet point 2, and this was in context for some of the illegal fill and dumping activities we have in electoral areas. It references Ministry of Agricultural and Food. And these matters, I believe it's the Agricultural Land Commission, which essentially rides point on these things. They do operate as a separate entity with their own CEO and trust and members. I'm not sure exactly what the governance is. I just know that they're distinct from the ministry. So I don't know if amendments are needed or that staff can just take that away. It could be other ministries sort of heave into view as they start picking this one apart. I know on the ALC side, one particular issue could get shotgunned out to forestry, walrus, as well as MOE. So I guess it's a question through to staff. Do we need an amendment to reflect that?
Yeah, I'm going to take that as an amendment, Director Davidson, with that fix. So we'll move that as an amendment to correct that piece, or direct that towards the ALC. Seconder.
A question on the motion, just a point of information. Is the amendment to add the ALC or to replace food and agriculture with ALC? Because I have some information that I think the first approach is secondable by me. The other is perhaps worth discussion.
The first approach, just to clarify, would be to replace it?
No, to add it.
Add it. Okay.
Director Davidson,
yeah.
that was yeah, sorry, Mr. Chair.
Was the intent to add it or replace?
For myself, I'm good either way. My instinct was to replace, but my instinct is telling me that other ministries are going to heave into view as we start unpacking this one.
So let's go ahead and treat this as Ministry of Agriculture and Food and the Agricultural Land Commission. Is that acceptable?
Yes,
Okay.
it is for me.
Seconded by Director Horn. Discussion, Director Horn, go ahead.
Extremely quickly, when we had minister's tour because of the Hatzic watershed work we were doing, they included the Minister of Agriculture, and she was very helpful in bringing forward orders on this type of issue. So I see value in continuing that loop.
Director Clute.
Yeah, thank you. I would agree that they should be independent. They work independently of each other while they maybe overlap a little bit with their mandates. But you know, I don't only see it as a bylaw infractions. I would say that under if I think back to the November 2021 flooding events here in the Abbotsford and Chilliwack area, I think of the communication that seems to have been missed with respect to essential traffic. And I think a lot of that's to do with agriculture, whether they be milk trucks or feed trucks or hay trucks. And they weren't given the green light to go. And I know there was some conversations that were happening that there could have been better communication. So I see value in having both.
Great, thank you. Okay, I don't see any other questions on the amendment. All in favor? Opposed? The amendment carries. And on the main motion as amended, I need a mover and or we've got it moved and seconded. Do we not? We do. Thank you. And I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? If any, item carries. Thank you. Next item.
The next item, 11.1 through 11.7 are items for information and correspondence. Happy to separate any of those items for discussion.
Thank you. Questions on any information items? Don't see any. Next item.
Item 13 is reports by board directors.
Okay, directors, should be your opportunity. Director McElhonick.
Thank you. So I think that people have heard me speak, that other directors have heard me speak about the situation in Area E with displaced residents impacted by the atmospheric river event. And so I've just got something I've written up here, and we've been working really hard, but there still is no resolution. And that was why one of the motions was put forward in our advocacy group for resolution. So as you know, there are a group of residents that have been impacted by the atmospheric river event in November of 2021 in Area E. 2 of the houses are severely damaged and 4 others have been deemed unsafe and uninhabitable. It has now been over 2 years since this event, and these residents have not been able to have their situation resolved. I've been working with the residents on these issues and arranged media training for them, and they have had some good media coverage. One of the residents has sent over 65 letters and well-written emails, and others have sent letters and emails with no tangible answers to the situation. FVRD staff have been working with the group since the event and have been stonewalled by the province on information for timelines or resolution. Our chair, CAO, and I met with the Premier on this file at UBCM. I further met with the Finance Minister, Minister of Emergency Management twice, and our local MLA numerous times, and have had many other calls. We have asked for resolution that the residents receive the 2021 assessed value of their homes. The province has said that they are working on it, that they have twice told residents last year they would hear by last spring and then early fall. They did not follow through. This has had a serious impact on these hardworking residents in all aspects of their lives. This uncertainty has further increased their stress and suffering for them. At this time, I'm requesting that the Fraser Valley Regional District Mayor's Chair and Directors sign on to a joint letter from the board asking the Premier for immediate action and a decision on this file. Communications Director Samantha Piper was at our last meeting and will, if this passes, will be able to write the letter. So I would request a motion of support, or a motion for this action of support, and thank you for your consideration of this request.
Thank you. Looking for a seconder for the request to write this a letter, seconded by Director Dixon. Discussion, questions. Director Horn.
Sorry, I'm not clear on one aspect of the motion. Is the letter to be signed by the chair on behalf of everybody around the table, or is this also, there was some mention of mayors signing, and that becomes a bit more onerous in terms of going through each individual council. I'm not quite sure if I understood the motion correctly. I certainly support it. It's faster, I think, if we have the letter signed at this table representing all the communities that are members.
Director McIlhenny.
So Chair Lum was at the meeting, and this was in response to one of the residents asking for a letter from the mayor of Chilliwack and us saying that, well, this isn't his, like Area E isn't his area, but we could do something from the Fraser Valley Regional District, which consists of 6 mayors, the regional district chair. So, I mean, I think it may be helpful if we said that the chair, which represents, and just say something so that they feel heard, if that sounds.
Precisely.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, the authority of the regional district or the authority that you give the chair is on behalf of the regional district and the regional governing board, not the individual municipalities, but certainly the intent is to try and raise the profile, try to assist, bringing this to resolution. And my mind, the more kind of the more we can present a solid, unified kind of support for the plight of these residents is a positive thing. Ms. Kinnaman, you've got your light on too.
Oh, no, I think I was just going to say that through the conversation with the residents, I don't know that they were necessarily looking for endorsement by each municipal council, but wondered if for some types of correspondence, individual mayors have the ability to sign certain levels of correspondence, and if that would be one of them. But if that's not the case, I'm sure that they would prefer expedience over having extra signatures.
Director Popo.
Yeah, I would have no problem supporting that, but I'd have to run it through my, my council. So it would take another couple of weeks to get her done. And I think we all have electronic signatures as well. So I go either way, whichever way.
Okay. Director Clute.
Thank you. I just wanted, I know Vice Chair Ross is not here, but as your appointee on the Lower Mainland Local Government Association, we're working hard for the conference May 1st to 3rd in Whistler this year. And if there was ever a time that I feel is more important to be there, I encourage all my colleagues around this table to try to make an opportunity to attend. I think we're in a year where there's a lot of changes coming down. It's also an election year, but certainly welcome all of you at the Lower Mainland LGA this spring. Thank you.
And so in terms of Director Pranger, this is on the just want to clear up on the letter side. I want to make sure we're okay with this. We've got a kind of motion that's being moved in second. The request is under the signature of the board chair at this point. Certainly we could circulate a copy of that letter to the municipalities for their endorsement and signature, and that wouldn't slow down our initial letter going out if that's the way, if that sounds okay. Just want to make sure if there's any other questions on this. Director Pranger.
You've kind of covered my comments. Okay. I'm fully supportive of the letter going from the regional district, but in order for it to be endorsed as under my signature, I would have to take it back to my council.
Director Dickey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and perhaps associated with this issue, I just had a question through staff. Obviously, there's a tragic situation. Just curious whether there's any indication that the province of BC is evolving the way in which they handle these issues.
Ms. Kinnaman.
I'll start, and perhaps Mr. Daniluz could chime in. So as you all know, the province has a new Emergency and Disaster Management Act, which includes quite a number of new regulations that are going to have a significant impact on local government and also on those affected by disasters. The regulations are still under development, and so we still have a lot of questions about what those impacts might be on residents that are affected. In the case of what we're discussing here today, you know, these are rather unique situations, but probably not so unique throughout the province of British Columbia, where one might be impacted by land movement and find themselves in a similar situation where their properties are not covered under insurance, nor are they covered under disaster financial assistance. Whether the new regulations are going to address that gap, we do not know at this point in time. And we certainly don't know what their timelines are for addressing it. But I'm not sure if Graham had anything else that he would like to add to it at this point. But in meeting with these, some of these residents face to face with Director Makahonic and with Chair Lum, I know that they're very appreciative of all of the support they're receiving, both here at the board table as well as from staff to help their cause. No easy answers for sure, but certainly they would like to make sure that they're not forgotten. And by sending a letter of this nature, I think it would just further underscore their plight.
Director Horn.
Yeah, not to beat a dead horse, but I just wanted to go back to a comment made by Director Makahonic that I think does solve the problem. And I think it's important to state in the content of the letter that it was passed unanimously with the strongest language possible, or words to that effect, that the directors support the resolution of these matters as a priority. I think that's the key language, and I agree. Would be happy to receive the letter as correspondence as well at council and in our community, and see if we can add another letter at a later date.
Excellent. Don't see any other comments. I just check back in with you, Director Makahonic, for any final word before I call the question.
I feel a little emotional, but very grateful. And these residents have the province changing the goalpost and saying they're getting information and not, has caused a lot of unnecessary trauma, mental health concerns, marriage breakups, financial concerns. So, you know, they are very, very deserving of your support, and to go back and say that they know I'm here tonight, and to know that, you know, everyone here is going to support them. They deserve to have answers either way. So from the bottom of my heart, on their behalf, thank you.
Thank you. And I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Next item. Oh, sorry. Other director reports. Back to other directors. I don't see any other reports. Next item, Ms. Kinnaman.
Next item is public question period for items relevant to the agenda. And we'll just turn things over to our corporate officer, Jamie Van Ness.
Ms. Van Ness.
Thank you. We don't have anybody online with us, and we have nobody in person today, and we've received no questions. So we can move to the next item.
Ms. Kinnaman, next item.
Looking for a resolution to close the meeting.
Thank you. It's moved by Director Pranger and seconded by Director Reed. All in favor, opposed if any. Item carries. 2 minutes.
Yes, just give us a couple minutes to set up the room. Thanks.